Tonight, a small community was locked down after a fatal shooting this morning. Mass outages to the Rogers network snarl cellular and internet services across the country.
Bunker 24, this is Senior Comms Operator Combs.
And step back in time and take a tour of Bunker 24 at the tunnels of Moose Jaw.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It's Friday, July 8th. CBC Saskatchewan News starts now. It was a chaotic morning in Langham after a deadly shooting. For hours, people in the community were on edge and couldn't leave their homes. Yasmin Hernea has the latest from Langham.
RCMP say 2 people are dead, and they believe one of them is the suspect after an early morning shooting in the small community of about 1,500 people. A dangerous person alert was issued Friday around 7:40 in the morning, urging residents to immediately seek shelter and lock their doors and windows. About an hour and a half later, another alert confirming one person was dead. RCMP identified the suspect as Justin Heimbecker. He was believed to be armed during the police search. Saskatchewan Highway Patrol officers had blocked off roads in the area and checked residents' trunks on the way in and out. Businesses locked their doors. Coffee shop owner Mitch DeChambeau says the whole situation was intense.
I kind of peeked out my door when I first got the warning, but I haven't seen anyone. I think everybody's kind of already locked themselves up and everything. And we decided not to open the doors, obviously, so I'm just kind of waiting to see more information.
The alert was canceled around noon on Friday when police said the community was no longer at risk. They say a body was found inside a house that was on fire earlier in the day in Langham. The coroner has not confirmed the identity of the body in the house, but RCMP say they believe it's Heimbecker's.
Who is believed to be the suspect was located deceased inside the residence, but we have to stress that the identity must be confirmed. Anytime an incident like this occurs, there is high anxiety within a community. There's lots of questions, people looking for information. Our investigators are working hard to find out what happened.
Residents were able to leave their homes in the afternoon, but it's unlikely they'll know much more for a while. The RCMP Major Crimes Unit is still investigating to try to piece together what exactly led to the shooting. Yasmin Hernea, CBC News, Langham, Saskatchewan.
With warm temperatures and humid air across Saskatchewan, that means some interesting weather is happening right now. So it's time to bring in weather specialist Ethan Williams. And Ethan, we do have some hot spots in the province right now, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And we also have some tornado warnings in effect, Dan. And we'll go to radar now. And it is on this cell, and this is for the RMs of Leask and Meeting Lake. You can see the rotation in the storm here as it kind of curls around. And it's right here where we are concerned about a tornado. And this is moving to the northeast. And this is heading toward places like Muskeg Lake and Pelican Cove, as well as the Mistawassus First Nation. And this, you can't see it on the map here, but this is Highway 12 between Shell Lake and Blaine Lake, and you should not be traveling on that stretch of highway right now. And do be advised, Highway 3 between Shell Lake and Shellbrook, this storm will be heading in your direction soon. In addition to a tornado, some very large hail possible, and we do have a severe thunderstorm warning as well for North Battleford, which we'll get to shortly. This storm, or one near it, did produce a tornado earlier today near Paynton. Joe grabbing this shot. This was just near the number 16 highway. And Dan, we will have more details on these storms coming up a little bit later.
All right. Thanks, Ethan.
You're welcome.
A Saskatchewan mother is begging for her daughter's life. The 23-year-old has suffered for years from chronic illnesses, but lately things have gotten worse. Laura Sharpaletti has the story.
This is Morgan Buyaki during healthier times. She's a young woman from Nipawin who loves animals to a fault, raising funds for a senior dog shelter and often taking in strays. But these days, she is mostly bedridden and has to use a walker and oxygen. 18 months ago, Buyaki was diagnosed with an extremely rare vascular disease called EGPA. The illness attacks her white blood cells. Her liver, kidneys, heart, and gastrointestinal system are all affected. But worst of all, she struggles to breathe.
She just can't breathe. She's basically drowning on land. She's like It's like she's suffocating.
EGPA is fatal if untreated, but there is a potential treatment. A medication called Nucala by the manufacturer GSK has been shown to have positive effects for many, including the possibility of putting the disease into remission. But McIver says one monthly injection costs between $5,600 and $9,000.
Big Pharma breaks in billions or trillions of dollars worth of profit to have a medication that costs $10,000 a month. I mean, who can afford that? And to say that, I'm sorry, because you're not rich or wealthy, your child's life means nothing.
McIver says she's reached out to multiple levels of government as well as the drug maker, but has received no personal response. She says her daughter's specialists and doctors have reached out to the government for help accessing the drug, but have been denied. Saskatchewan's Ministry of Health says it cannot comment on a specific individual's condition due to privacy, but said in a statement, however, please note that Nucala is an eligible benefit under exemption drug status in Saskatchewan. Nucala is indeed on the list of drugs that are covered by the government, but the required dose is 300 milliliters per month, and only 100 milliliters are covered by the government. McIver says she is desperate for help.
But it's not just me and my child. It could be tomorrow, it could be somebody else's child or somebody else's mother who, for the same thing, cannot afford a life-saving medication. And I just don't think that in this day and age, in this country, that Canada, I just don't think it's acceptable.
McIver recently asked her daughter what her wish is, and Boyaki said she simply wanted to be healthy enough to work at Tim Hortons. Laura Sharpaletti, CBC News, Regina.
The Sask party remains popular even if the majority of the province's residents believe it has mishandled certain issues, including health care. The latest polling data by Angus Reid shows 57% of those who responded say they would vote for Scott Moe and the Sask party. 34% of people said they'd vote NDP. But there's a contradiction in the data, with at least 2/3 of people believing the Sask party has done a poor or very poor job at handling health care and inflation.
Where do you put that frustration? Do you blame it all on the provincial government? No. Do you blame it on the federal government? No. Do you blame it on just life in general? Absolutely. And so I think we're getting in a period of sort of considerable fatalism about the way the world is evolving. And so people are angry and upset. Doesn't necessarily play out on a partisan political basis.
594 people were a part of the poll, which is accurate plus or minus 4 percentage points, 19 times out of 20. Rogers Communications is experiencing a widespread network outage across the country that's affecting millions of customers, including Rider fans and many others here in Saskatchewan.
I'm feeling a little disoriented because I went across the street to get groceries, and of course, debit machines and credit machines are not working.
Since early this morning, internet, mobile, and home services have been affected, including a wide range of businesses that rely on Rogers infrastructure. Interac and many credit and debit machines are down as well. The outage has disrupted business for retailers, courthouses, airlines, and Service Canada, including ones that issue passports. And if you're attending tonight's Rider game, make sure you bring cash or credit cards because debit is not working. Also, police in some parts of the country are warning of possible problems when trying to reach 911. Rogers says its technical teams are working to restore the service. As for the Green and White, they are welcoming the Ottawa Red Blacks for their only meeting of the 2022 regular season. The Green and White are looking for back-to-back wins after a dominating effort over Montreal last week. The Red Blacks come in without a win so far this season, and a lot of the problem has come on the defensive side of the football. The beat-up Rider offense will need to take advantage, both through the air and on the ground, so establishing a running game will be key, but it will be a group effort.
And it's going to be one of those games where I think they have talented linebackers as well that fill the gaps and have played some CFL football games. So running the football might be a little bit of a challenge for us, and we know that going in. But we're going to try and establish a run game because it helps everything else when you can hand the ball off and get 5, 6, 7 yards. But yeah, it's a good defense.
I love contact. You know, if I could dominate the opponent in front of me and then do it in style with these running backs that we have, Morrill and Frankie toting that ball. Then as long as I get it from my player, put my hands on him, I'm pretty sure he's not going to get off that type of block. And it showed last week I had 0 catches, but what I did is not on the stat sheet.
Kickoff is set for 7:30 tonight at Mosaic Stadium. Bring a raincoat because it could get wet. Ethan Williams will give us a game day forecast in just a bit. Now, it would be great to spend some time poolside this weekend. One will have to wait another year to take in the new Wascana pool. Today, though, we got a sneak peek of Regina's newest summer spot. The $15 million construction project started late last summer when the older and much smaller pool was torn out. The original pool first opened in 1947 and was considered too small by today's standards. After public consultation, a new plan was approved. It will include a water slide, lazy river, and other details which are starting to already take shape.
Years ago, we traveled to another city in Saskatchewan. They had water slides, and the question was, why don't we have a pool with an outdoor pool with water slides? And and I kept asking that question for many, many years, and here we are today having that and also being accessible. So it's incredible.
The pool complex will also have an accessible playground, spray pad, and a concession stand, both open to pool patrons and park patrons. The project required dozens of trees to be removed, but the city promised to replace each one with 3 new ones. It is on schedule and should be finished this fall and ready for its full season next summer. Take out your tackle box and bait your hooks. Saskatchewan's free fishing weekend is here. Tomorrow and Sunday, residents and visitors are allowed to fish in any provincial body of water that is open to sport fishing. You don't need a fishing license, but you will have to follow all provincial fishing regulations. We'll be back with more after the break. Welcome back. Now, if you're looking for a little escape this weekend, why not head to Moose Jaw? The tunnels of Moose Jaw has a fantastic experience called Bunker 24. It celebrated its grand opening today, so if you want a little taste of Cold War Canada in the 50s and 60s, take a look.
I was also directed to reiterate the importance of this meeting with North Bay. Make sure all recruits arrive on time. Coombs out.
Hello, my name is Kelly Carty with the Tunnels of Moose Jaw, and I'd like to welcome you to our new tour, Bunker 24. Come with me. So this is the basement of Rex Fruit, which was an important business in Moose Jaw in the early 1900s. And it served the population, providing ice for their ice boxes and fresh fruits and vegetables that weren't available before refrigeration. The reason why we chose the theme for Bunker 24 is Moose Jaw's close connections to RCAF Station Main, as it was known in 1958. It is now 15 Wing Moose Jaw. There's a strong military history in Moose Jaw. We had the British Commonwealth Air Training Program during World War II. We train, and we still do train pilots here for NATO. We worked with NORAD, and we wanted to bring that connection into Moose Jaw. We had a lot of assistance from 15 Wing and from the military to research and to find all the wonderful artifacts within this tour. A big part of Canada's contribution to World War II and to the Cold War was communications. Now, the majority of the communication workers were women. William Stevenson, who was a intrepid, that was his nickname, he was a spy. He thought women could be more trusted than men, so they were trusted with the secrets, and this is where they worked. They would intercept messages primarily from the Soviet Union at the time and translate and send messages back to the Allies. And a lot of technology was invented by Canadians in Canada. So the tour of Bunker 24 takes place in 1958. And this is what a lot of people's idea of 1958 was. Bright, beautiful, chrome, space age, jet age. But the reality that people lived through in the 1950s was one of constant fear of nuclear war. They still hadn't got over the scars of World War II. World War II was very good for Canada as a nation because it helped us economically, and we became less of a colony of the United Kingdom. We became our own country. But this is what people think the 1950s were like, and Bunker 24 will tell you what the real truth is. We'd like to invite everyone to come down and see our new Bunker 24 tour, as well as our newly reopened Passage to Fortune tour and the Chicago Connection. We're always excited to have new visitors. You can book your tickets online at tunnelsofmoosejaw.com, or you can call our ticket office at 306-693-5261. I'm so excited to have you come and visit.
This weather update is brought to you by Capital Ford Lincoln. The exclusive export event is back.
Ethan's in with a look at the weather. Now, lots to get to. I know everybody wants to get to what's happening game day with the Riders, but there's some more important stuff happening across the province, of course.
Yeah, that's right. We still do have tornado warnings in effect right now, Dan, and it's for this storm. These are two cells which are starting to merge together in the RM of Leask. And if you are in Leask or the Mistawasis First Nation or up towards Shellbrook, be aware that this is a tornado warning for you now. If you are driving this evening, no one should be driving along Highway 40 between Blaine Lake and Shellbrook as this storm will impact that area. This is Highway 3 between Shell Lake and Shellbrook. You should be staying off of that road as well. And you can't see it on the map here, but Highway 12 runs between Shell Lake and Blaine Lake, and this storm is right over top of it right now. And this is moving to the northeast and likely some pretty large hail in there as well. We'll zoom out and we'll show you the entire provincial view, and you can see we just basically these cells right now west of Prince Albert firing off just northeast of the Yellowhead Highway. But we are expecting other storms to develop as we head through the evening through much of south and central Saskatchewan. This was a tornado that touched down near the Yellowhead Highway a little earlier this evening near Payneton. Dane grabbing this video as vehicles started pulling over along the side of the road. And here's another angle of it. You can really see it well defined here by Donald out near Payneton as well. That has since lifted and that cell has moved off to the north, and there's no longer any warnings on that at this point. But we do have watches and warnings in effect across the province this evening. Severe thunderstorm watches for the south and some severe thunderstorm warnings now popping up in the southwest part of the province. Tornado watches for Humboldt, Saskatoon, North Battleford, and now up to Prince Albert as well at this point. And remember, if you are caught in the path of severe weather, have a way to get weather warnings. Environment Canada saying if you're on the Rogers network, you're likely not going to get those warnings on your phone, so stay tuned to radio and TV. Have a shelter you can go to, and remember, even though we do appreciate your pictures, if you're in the path, wait until afterward to grab shots. Now, humidity levels really driving things here, and they are starting to drop off a bit where the storms are happening, but mid-30 humidex levels at this point are causing this. We also have this low pressure center which is interacting with that moisture. Warm front triggering off the initial storms. The cold front on the backside of this will likely trigger storms going through the night tonight. Tomorrow we do have the possibility of more showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon on the eastern side of the province. Main threats will probably be in Manitoba by the time we get to tomorrow as that low heads east. And then Sunday, a real rainy day in the south with embedded showers and thunderstorms possible as well. Here's our risk map for tomorrow. And again, a large portion of central and eastern Saskatchewan could see some pretty strong winds and maybe sizable hail as well. But after that, we start to see things clear out. Humidex going to be quite high over the next couple of days, but sunshine, a little breather in our forecast heading into next week. Humidex values pretty high in Saskatoon again tomorrow. But Dan, it looks like the heat extends all the way to northern Saskatchewan next week, so everyone getting a nice taste of that weather.
And it looks like, hopefully, as it usually does, it's missing Regina again, especially for this Rider game tonight.
That might be a good thing.
Yeah, we don't want those people to stay too late.
Exactly.
All right, thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
He's the one who gives his body as a weapon to a war.
If you were hoping to catch Buffy St. Marie at the Regina Folk Fest this summer, you're out of luck. Show organizers say the iconic singer will not be performing. She is recovering from COVID-19 and had to cancel all of her summer performances. The Folk Festival says Saturday night single tickets to St. Marie's performance are refundable by phone or email. A lineup of performers will be announced soon. Stay with us. We'll be right back. There is no freedom tonight for one of the organizers of the Freedom Convoy. Tamara Leach has been denied bail and will remain in custody in Ottawa. Stu Mills has all the details.
Tamara Leach has been in custody since Ottawa police issued a warrant for her arrest 10 days ago. She'd been out on bail following a slew of charges related to the protest that shut down Ottawa this past winter. But in earlier court appearances, Leach was granted bail. One of the conditions was that she not speak with other convoy protesters. But last month, Leach traveled from her home in Medicine Hat to an awards ceremony in Toronto where she accepted an award for her role in the protest. There, she was photographed speaking with another convoy protester named in her bail conditions. Today, the Justice of the Peace also considered new evidence. Those are text messages which appear to show Leach had a greater part in the occupation than originally thought. So, Justice Paul Harris said that to maintain confidence in the courts, Leach should be kept in jail.
Outside the courthouse this afternoon, a very large crowd of Leach supporters have gathered. They've been chanting things like, "Don't love your country too much or you'll go to jail." Obviously, they're disappointed in the most part to hear the Justice's decision this afternoon.
I'm sorry, but I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken. That woman is being locked up again.
She is nominated by the Nobel Peaceful Prize. She deserves it.
Extremely disappointed. We have received instructions to bring a bail review in the Superior Court of Ontario as quickly as possible, as soon as we can get it on.
So Leach was returned to the Ottawa Carleton Detention Centre. She'll make another court appearance by video in 1 week. Stu Mills, CBC News, Ottawa.
The busiest man at CBC Saskatchewan is back with us. Weather specialist Ethan Williams is with one last look at the weather for the weekend. Ethan?
Yeah, well, before we get to the weekend, Dan, we do have to contend with some storms again. A tornado warning in effect now for between Blaine Lake and Shellbrook, and there is now a confirmed tornado on the ground just north of Blaine Lake. It was between Crydor and Blaine Lake near Highway 40 just a little bit ago. No one should be traveling along Highway 40 between Blaine Lake and Shellbrook. This storm is about to cross the road, and to be safe, stay off Highway 3 between Shell Lake and Shellbrook, and Highway 12 between Shell Lake and Blaine Lake. Now, for the Rider game tonight, we are about an hour away from kickoff, and we are looking pretty good in Regina. 26 mix of sun and clouds, but keep in mind that there is a chance of a severe storm as we head into the evening hours, Dan. So if you're headed to the game, keep that in mind, and maybe some rain gear too.
And this is the sort of weather we probably could expect for a little while during the summer, right?
That is true. Very typical this time of year.
Awesome. Thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
Well, we showed you a new tour at the tunnels of Moose Jaw earlier in the show, and if you're heading to the city, why not check out the Sidewalk Festival? The event started yesterday and runs until tomorrow. Main Street is closed off to allow for all the fun. There are food vendors around town, includes a lot of Canadian military as well, lots of shopping and musical performances by bands and buskers of all stripes. Plenty of action for the kids as well, including games and bouncy castles. Events run until 8 o'clock tonight and from 10 to 5 tomorrow. And that's all we have for you tonight and for this week. For news anytime, head to cbc.ca/sask or /Saskatoon. Subscribe to any of our social media channels and, of course, our YouTube channel as well. Ethan Williams will be back with more local news at 11. Till then, have a great weekend.